The Browns have gone out and signed Shelby Harris, and holy shitballs, this team's Super Bowl bound. We're going to break down the news. We're going to get you guys everything you need to know about the newest member on this defensive line. But I've talked about Shelby Harris for quite some time on the channel, and Andrew Berry, confirmed viewer of the Browns Report now, got the deal done. And this is an incredible defense for Jim Schwartz to get his hands on. Jordan Schultz will give credit to the first one to break the news, saying Shelby Harris signing with the Browns, was with Seattle last year. He got traded from Denver up to the Pacific Northwest for Russell Wilson, but Shelby Harris now on his way to Northeast Ohio, and the guy's got a great career behind him. He's entering his 9th NFL season after 5 years in Denver, 2 in Oakland, where he was drafted in the 7th round, by the way, and then 1 short year in Seattle. Now, the contract details. It's a 1-year deal worth up to $5.2 million, so I'm guessing a lot of incentives were put in there. Now, if you guys recall, Shelby Harris actually visited with the Browns at the end of July. No deal got done. My guess is one side budged, and based on the contract number of $5+ million, maybe it was Andrew Berry who picked up the phone and said, all right, we watched Jordan Elliott in that Hall of Fame game. We'll fork it over. Let's get the deal done. But Shelby Harris coming on over now, and he's got some good years behind him. Last year with Seattle, 5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 4 pass breakups. Maybe my favorite number from last year, though, is he had 23 stops. The next highest player for the Browns, or if you're wondering how Jordan Elliott fared, he had 18 stops. So you're getting a better run stopper in Shelby Harris and a much better pass rusher as well. He had 6 sacks in 2 out of 3 seasons from 2019 to 2021. PFF, they loved Shelby Harris last year, and I did too. 73.2 overall. I'm not trying to advertise Shelby Harris as some all-pro defensive tackle, but he ranked in the top 20 of interior defensive linemen last year. So for Andrew Berry to find a top 20 defensive tackle in August is not very common. And for him to go, you know what? Screw it. We're all in on this year. Let's not hold back. I don't want any question marks about this roster. And so now the Browns defensive line, it's loaded. I mean, it is pin your ears back and get after the quarterback. Myles Garrett gets to line up next to Dalvin Tomlinson, Shelby Harris, and Za'Darius Smith, with Okoronkwo rotating in, Elliott and Ika coming off the bench. I mean, if you want to get a good run-stopping line out there, you go Garrett, Tomlinson, Ika, and Za'Darius Smith and Shelby Harris, 5 wide. Tristan Hill, Maurice Hurst, they can chime in too if they like. Isaiah McGuire, a rookie, get to be a sponge and soak this all in. Alex Wright, when he comes back healthy, you can knock him inside as well. This defensive line, it's going to be special. It's going to be elite. It's going to be top 5 in the NFL. The PFF ranks last year for these 4 starting players now, no one ranked outside the outside top 20. Za'Darius Smith, 13th amongst edge rushers. Myles Garrett, the best edge rusher in football at number 1. Dalvin Tomlinson, 14th. Harris, 17th. This defensive line, Jim Schwartz, is going to have a field day. Because when he gets to get his horses up front going, that's going to free up the linebackers to just shoot the gaps, blow up run plays, come in and blitz out of nowhere. And that allows the secondary to just hold on to their man for 2.5 seconds. And by then, the ball has to be thrown because one of those 4 guys is on the quarterback's lap. So grade the signing for me, and I only want to see A's. This is going to be a bit of lack of freedom of speech. I'm going to be the Communist Party right now and go only A's for this signing because that's all it is. It's an A signing. It's a 1-year, $5+ million contract. There's no big money down the line. And ultimately, the Browns come away with what I believe is a top 5 defensive line. It's now right there with the Philadelphia Eagles, the San Francisco 49ers, the Kansas City Chiefs with Chris Jones. It is with the top-tier defensive lines. And what did those 3 teams do last year? Only go to the respective championship games of their conferences. I mean, if you get good in the trenches, and we know the Browns are good on the offensive line, but if you get good on the defensive line, that just relieves so much pressure for the rest of the defense. Because like I said, now JOK isn't worried about guards and tackles getting to him, right? He can be the athletic linebacker that goes sideline to sideline and gets into the backfield and starts blowing up plays. Why? Because Shelby Harris is eating blockers. Shelby Harris is getting into the backfield himself. He's got great pass rush upside. He led the Broncos in sacks 2 years ago with 6, which is not very good for Denver to have 6 as your leading sack getter. But still, it just goes to show Shelby Harris is a really good pass rusher, but he's not a liability in the run game either. Like, I think if you had to pick a forte for him, it would be his pass rushing upside as a defensive lineman on the inside. But still, he can line up at defensive end. You can move him around. The guy is versatile. You saw his run defense last year was even better than his pass rush at 76.9. The guy's 32 years old. They aren't going to ask him to play a super big number of snaps. He's going to come in on 2nd and 3rd down, let someone else play 1st and 10 when it's just going to be a 2 to 3 yard rush anyway, and let Shelby Harris be fresh with Dalvin Tomlinson and Jordan Elliott and Siaki Ika. That's a great 4-man rotation right there. Now, if something were to happen to Tomlinson, your boat's not sinking. You're not right back where you were a season ago. You've got some great depth. Shelby Harris is someone I have been talking about, as our viewers know, for months at this point. And Andrew Berry, God bless you. You got it done. This Browns defensive line is loaded, and this team is Super Bowl bound. And if you want to be on the bandwagon, you haven't joined already, well, it's not too late. But make sure to subscribe. Join over 20,000 strong here at the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports, because I believe this is going to be the best Browns season ever, at least in my lifetime. And maybe yours too, but this season, it's going to be a movie. And it's going to be a movie that ends with the Lombardi Trophy being hoisted and brown and orange confetti raining down in Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada, because this team is Super Bowl bound. And I know it might seem a bit ambitious to make that leap from frickin' Shelby Harris being signed, but just look at the defensive line and think about all the additions that were made. And maybe my favorite one of all is not Shelby Harris or Za'Darius Smith or Dalvin Tomlinson, but it's the defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz, one of the best defensive minds in football. He gets to play Geppetto with all of these great puppets right now, and he's going to get them in the right spot. He's going to let his pass rushers feast. He's going to let his linebackers do their job, and no one has to do more than what they are asked to do, because the guys up front, they are a handful for the opposing offense. Tight ends, they've got a chip now, but they can't release that quickly. Running backs, they have to stay in and block. They can't go out to the flat, which means the linebacker gets to shoot the gap and get into the backfield and come up with a sack. These are the ramifications and the domino effect of having 4 great defensive linemen, so then the defense does not have to blitz. Everyone can stay home, and this defense, I haven't even talked about the offense, and I'm almost exhausting myself right now. But yeah, how about Shelby Harris joining a Browns team that's got Deshaun Watson so far in camp looking like 2020 Watson, who led the NFL in passing. Elijah Moore is looking like a rising star in the league. Amari Cooper is Amari Cooper. Nick Chubb is the best running back in football. And then you've got a top 2 offensive line, and it ain't 2, up front with Jed Wills, Joel Petonio, Ethan Posick, Wyatt Teller, and Jack Conklin. The offense is going to be awesome. The defense was holding on to just one piece, and that one missing piece was that other defensive tackle next to Dalvin Tomlinson. And Andrew Berry on a Wednesday night says, F it. Let's get him to Cleveland, and let's get this team not just to the postseason, but I'm talking winning postseason games. I'm talking the golf clubs stay in the closet until March. That's how good this team is going to be this year. I'm soaking it all in. I am prepared to get hurt again, but I'm not getting hurt. Like, this is a relationship that's going to benefit both sides. The Browns are going to be good, and we're going to reap the benefits of it, because finally Cleveland Browns fans will have a season to remember. So predict it for me. How many wins for the Browns in 2023? I think my initial win total projection was 10-7. I'm bumping it up. I'm bumping it up, baby. I'm going 11-6 for the Browns. The AFC is not an easy conference. The AFC North is not an easy division. There are going to be some tough games. I mean, right off the bat, you've got the Bengals, you've got the Steelers, you've got the Titans, you've got the Ravens, the 49ers. All of those teams are well-coached teams or reigning playoff teams. But if the Browns can come out of that 5-game stretch 3-2, 4-1, and go into games like Indianapolis and Denver and Chicago, teams that finish towards the bottom, if not the bottom of their division, they're going to start stacking up wins. They're going to start getting hot at the right time, and this team, it's going to go far. So to wrap up the show, let's pick a card. This has been awesome. I am super pumped about Shelby Harris joining the Browns. This is the move that Andrew Berry had to make to complete the defense, and I'm feeling it right now. I'm going to get the card right. I got to get it right for Shelby Harris.
This feels like somebody's going to get the card right here.
I have been the chairman of Shelby Harris to Cleveland. So, Tyler Smith, Smitty, what card do you want to go with?
I'm going to go with, since the Browns have a dynamic 4-man front, we're going to go the 4 of diamonds.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to go with the, give me the King of Hearts.
I like it.
One more cut. What'd you say?
4 diamonds.
4 fucking diamonds.
Oh!
Let's go!
Yeah! Let's go!
Someone had to get it for Shelby Harris.
Let's go!
4 diamonds. Wow.
Go!
That's a big win for Smitty right there.
This is a massive win for me. Sorry for the screaming, guys.
Okay.
I've tried this dozens of times. And when the Browns make a big signing, I got it right. Let's go!
I'm even happy myself. The producer's up 3-1 over me now. Let's put my Twitter at the bottom really quickly, Smitty, and we'll wrap up this cut with that right there. Hit me up on Twitter, by the way. If you guys are not following me over on whatever Elon's trying to do with it, make sure you do so at Matthew Petey. I'm always talking Brownies, talking NFL over there. So hit me up over on Twitter.